What up, donkeys? JackAce here with JackAce.com, and here I'm going to review another system. This one is called Pied Piper. This was given an A grapefruit, by the CEG Dealer School. It is a bit of a unique system because it is labeled a buddy system, which means that you and a buddy are supposed to play at the same table, playing the same system, but on opposite sides of the coin. It's a pretty big system. It's a $1,000 buy-in. The starting bet is $100 per spin, and that is for one player. So that means playing as a team, you would be buying in for $2,000 with a starting bet of $200 per spin. So it's very large. But we are going to be playing the system as a single player. And let me show you why you should be playing this as a single player as opposed to two players playing as a team. So we're going to start off by betting $50 on black and $50 on 19 through 36, the high bet. And let's go ahead and spin.
No more bets.
We have a starting balance of $2.22 million, although they do suggest buying in for $1,000. So there we lost both bets, so we stay at this level. I'm going to rebet and spin.
No more bets.
So there, our two bets canceled each other out. So we just stay at this level and rebet and spin.
No more bets.
You progress to the next level when you hit both bets, and we just hit both bets there. So we're actually going to double. This is $200 for this spin. Let's go ahead and spin.
No more bets.
And if you lose both bets, you reset to the first step. So here we lost. And we're going to go back to that first step, 50 and 50. For the system on a single zero wheel, you have an expected loss per spin on the first tier of $2.70. On a double zero wheel, you have an expected loss per spin of $5.26. It's basically the house edge becomes your expected loss. And then you would just double that for the second tier. You multiply it by 1.75 for the third tier.
No more bets.
So there are three, but optionally there are 4 steps to the system. Here we won both bets. So we double.
No more bets.
You progress as you make your wins. That's a double loss. So we go back to step 1. The first step is $100, 50 and 50. The second bet is $200, 100 and 100. Third step is rumple with $25 units. That's 6 corner bets. And then you also put a split bet on the 0 double 0. But we're just going to bet this $100 on the first tier
No
here.
more bets.
And optionally, if you hit that, you can double that third step, which is what David does in the video for Pied Piper. So that was 1 win, 1 loss. We pushed there. We're just going to go ahead and rebet,
No more
respin.
bets.
And we'll take a look at this in my roulette simulator a little bit later. That's another push. And with the simulator, we are also going to just look at this system from the perspective of one of the two players. If you enjoy looking at roulette systems, go to my website, JackAce.com. There I have a catalog of over 275 roulette systems with spin-by-spin results as spun by the CEG Dealer School. So go ahead and rebet,
No more
respin.
bets.
So this is the reason why you should not play as a team, because 2 out of every 38 spins, you are both going to get whacked. There is 0 upside to you guys both betting red and black and high and low at the same time. If you want to know if you would have won, you could just watch the wheel and have a blank spin with no money on the table. If the two of you are truly playing as a team, it makes no sense to bet on both sides of the same coin.
No more bets.
And the reason is because of something I call bet nullification. I have a full video on it and you should watch it if you don't believe me. That's a push there.
No more bets.
Basically, if you bet on 36 or more numbers at a time, there exists a smaller bet that you can make where there is less risk and the same amount of upside for when you do hit. That was a push. We are currently down $400. We started at 2.22 million.
No more bets.
In CEG's video, they were very lucky. David hit his jackpot several times, which is why they gave this an A. Let's rebet and respin.
No
That was a
more
push. but they managed to avoid the 0 and double 0 when it really counted, when they were both betting on the same even money bets. So now we hit. Let's go ahead and double and
No
spin.
more bets.
And let's see if we can get to that third tier. We did not get it there. Let's try maybe one more attempt to get to that third tier.
No more bets.
That's a whack.
No more bets.
That's a whack. Getting really unlucky here.
No more bets.
We're down 700. Major whack.
No more bets.
So that's a hit, $100 win. Let's double up and spin.
No more
This is
bets.
tier 2. That's a push. We can rebet and try again.
No more bets.
So if you get whacked, you go back to step 1. If you win, you go higher to the next step. This is another push.
No more bets.
And that's a win. So let me show you step 3. We have to change our betting units. This app doesn't have $25 chips for some reason. So here you bet $25 on 6 corner bets that do not overlap. And then you put $25 on the 0-double-0 split. That is a total of $175 being bet.
No more bets.
So that's a whack. So that's it. We are down $675. We really had some bad luck trying to hit those 2 bets at the same time, but let's take a look at this system in my simulator. So here we are in the JackAce Roulette Simulator. We are going to simulate the Pied Piper system, playing only one of the 2 players that are supposed to be playing as part of a team. We are going to start out with just a few trials. We're going to do 200 trials, trying to go from 1,000 to 1,500, a $1,000 bankroll with a 50% gain. Let's click simulate. It just takes a couple of seconds to do 200 trials. Of the 200 trials, you can see there's a steady decline as we are unsuccessful in turning $1,000 into $1,500. Of the 200 trials, we were successful 78 times. That's 39% of the time, but we lost 5.5% of all the money wagered, which is about on par of what we would expect. With the 0-0 wheel, you would expect to lose 5.26% of the money wagered. And I've added this new stat. This is the count of how many times you are at each tier. So we're at the starting tier, tier 0, for 5,600 spins. We are at tier 1 for about 2,500 spins. And we are at that third tier, tier 2, for 1,500, almost 1,600 spins. And this is the results of one of the trials. You can see we almost hit our goal of hitting 1,500, but after that we had a steady decline and eventually got wiped out in this trial. If we look at a couple results, we won 100, we bet 200 until we won, and then we started winning $50 with that Rumple Stillskin configuration. Then we got whacked. We went back to the $100 tier, we got whacked, and we eventually got dragged down to $25, and we couldn't make the $100 bet at that point. So let's see what this looks like with 10,000 trials, and I won't force you to sit through this all. So here we are successful 40% of the time, 40.6% of the time, with an average number of spins per trial being 48.1. And let's see what it takes to double our bankroll, hitting $2,000. So the percent success of doubling our bankroll is down to 20.3%. And it took us an average of 77.2 spins to come to a conclusion. per trial. That's either winning or going bust. We can also see what this looks like for 000 wheel if you're insane enough to play 000, which you should never do, by the way. So of our 10,000 trials, we were successful around 3,100 times. It took us an average of 46.8 spins per trial. That's because we're failing a lot more than we were with the 000 wheel. So we fail sooner than when we had 00. So compared to 00, we were successful 31.3% of the time versus 40.6% of the time with 00. That's because with 000, you are going to be successful far less. Now, what about doubling our bankroll? So now we're only successful 11.6% of the time. It takes us 67.9 spins per trial. So 11.6% success rate is a lot worse than 20.3, which was what we were getting with 00. Now for 0 we can't bet the 0-00 split, so I've modified the system to bet on the 0 straight up on that third tier. How successful are we with this? Let's try to get to 1,500 or a 50% gain. So here we were successful 47.6% of the time. That's much better than 40.6%. It took us an average of 49.6 spins per trial. And what does it take to double our bankroll to go to 2,000? So here we were successful 31.8% of the time. That's much, much better than 20.3% of the time. And it takes 78.9 spins to determine the success or failure of this system with a 0 wheel. So that's it. That's all I'm going to show you with the simulator. But I do want to emphasize that you should never bet on 36 or more numbers at a time, which is precisely what you would be doing if you played as a team using this system. So I know the system author tried to get you to play this system as a team. I know that CEG suggested you should play this system as a team, but I strongly advise against it. You are throwing money away. You are increasing your expected loss per spin needlessly because there is no potential of being ahead when you do that. So what do you think of this system, Pied Piper? CEG originally gave the system an A. I gave this system a B, but that is with the caveat that you are only betting one of the two sides. You are not betting for both players playing as a team. My rating of this system with the two players playing together is an absolute F. You are putting needless money at risk with absolutely no upside, with no chance of reward. That's if you guys are playing as a team and pooling your money. I suppose the only upside would be that you would get some additional comp value, but it's going to be much less than what you're adding to the table in terms of your expected loss. One thing I would change about Rumple is that you are making 6 bets. You can actually consolidate it into 2 bets by betting 2 columns or 2 dozens, essentially. If you enjoy this content, remember to like and subscribe. Always gamble responsibly. Never play 000 roulette. And peace out, donkeys.